He spent his entire career designing monuments of glass and steel, thinking that building higher was the only way to touch immortality. But when a sudden fire took away the only person he loved, those grand concrete towers instantly, he walked away from the prestigious firms, the multi-million-dollar contracts, realizing that the city couldn't offer any medicine for his bleeding soul. To heal his mind, he had to completely abandon the artificial world, seeking a place of raw decay where life could start over. He arrived in a forgotten town of dust and rust, a desolate landscape that perfectly mirrored the broken ruins inside his own heart. The silence of the ruins wasn't empty. It was filled with the heavy ghosts of old productivity, waiting for a new purpose. He chose this forgotten ruin as his new sanctuary. No digital screens, no social noise. The transformation didn't start with a grand plan. It began with clearing away the debris. He planted his first seeds in the cracks of the ruin, trusting the silent intelligence of nature to do the rest. His drawing style changed completely. He stopped sketching straight lines of cold steel and started designing spaces where plants could breathe. He spent his mornings doing hard physical labor that left no room for anxious thoughts. Watering his hidden garden with absolute discipline, the ruins began to soften. The sharp edges of the industrial past were slowly covered in a beautiful canvas of green. He stopped viewing decay as a tragedy. He started seeing it as a necessary opening, a gift for the wild. He allowed himself to wash away the old grief, breathing in rhythm with the storm that was feeding his new creation. When you work with soil, your internal calendar slows down. You learn to accept the long, invisible seasons of growth. He expanded his vertical garden to the upper levels, turning the old industrial platforms into lush terraces of wild greenery. He was creating a completely new architectural language, a green sanctuary built directly out of the ashes of a dead industry. The performance anxiety of his old corporate life was entirely gone, replaced by the deep, unshakable peace of the present moment. Autumn brought a glorious display of color to his sanctuary, reminding him that there is a deep majesty in letting things go. Winter was approaching fast, but his mind felt completely prepared. The wild weather locked him inside his green fortress. The world outside was silent, forcing his mind into deep introspection. The phantom weight of his past trauma was completely gone. He no longer felt broken. He felt beautifully integrated with the earth. Even in the dead of winter, his discipline never wavered, and he was a proud protector of the life he planted. Every single day became a ceremony of deep appreciation. When you build your own shelter, nothing is ever taken for granted. And then, the universe gave him a visual masterpiece, a cosmic dance of light that made his human grief look tiny. He stood there, a tiny dot in a massive industrial ruins, feeling a profound connection to the infinite pulse of life. Spring returned with a massive explosion of vitality. The garden had survived the freeze, and so had his human spirit. The sanctuary was fully established, self-sustaining, and complete. It was time to return to the world to share the seed. He wasn't returning to civilization as a broken man seeking escape. He was returning as an architect of a living future. He watched the gray cities approach on the horizon, but he knew the concrete could never imprison his mind again. Metropolis was exactly the same, loud, frantic, and completely disconnected. But he carried an inner jungle inside his chest. He didn't return to ask for his old job back. He returned to present a radical new vision for the city. He taught them that true architecture shouldn't fight nature. It should provide a sturdy cradle where nature can safely grow. His raw words hit their target perfectly. A sudden spark of creative rebellion was lit in a young, vulnerable mind. Use these tools to cultivate beauty.
We will make a difference. Thank you.
He started a grassroots movement to claim the empty spaces, turning the dead concrete roofs into vibrant community gardens. Great work, everyone. Look at the progress we've made.
We're almost done with
This feels done with this row.
so much better than being indoors.
Within a few months, the gray roof became a sanctuary of community life, proving that nature can bloom anywhere if given a chance.
Perfect cut. You've got it.
Yes, look at that. Thank you. He built a balanced life inside the modern world, working with tech as a tool, but keeping his soul rooted. He learned to trust the slow physical steps of construction, grounding his entire reality in things that had real weight. Every weekend, he returned directly to the boundary of the wild, reminding himself of the grand masterpiece outside our window. The trail didn't come with status updates or digital applause, but every single step felt completely real, meaningful, and his own. He wrote down his final conclusion. The city tells us who to be, but the earth reminds us who we are. He had survived the long, dark room of grief. He had built a living Zsan out of dust. And he was free. His home was no longer a network of stress and metrics. It was a space of quiet memory, a reflection of true intention. He fell asleep in perfect harmony with his mind. The old nightmares were gone, replaced by the gentle rustle of leaves. Don't let the cold concrete of a modern world hollow your soul away. Step out of the machine and plant your seed. Together, we will plant these trees and help our earth. He taught them that soil isn't dirty. It is the exact magical substance where all life, all color, and all... He planted hope in their young minds, teaching them that they have the power to repair the broken world around them. The microforest became a central hub of safety and connection, bringing birds, butterflies, and real human warmth back to the neighborhood. Sometimes, you don't need a counselor with answers. You just need to sit with someone and watch the trees grow stronger. And just like that, the invisible wall of isolation broke. Another soul discovered the deep joy of protecting something alive. He turned his small project into a massive annual celebration, showing the entire city the beautiful power of ecological resilience. He watched the community thrive, their outline bodies glights. The recognition felt different this time. It wasn't a corporate trophy, it was a genuine thank you note from a grateful community. He walked through the empty streets, the cool night air smelling cleanly of wet leaves. He had found true architecture. The empty space he started with was now overflowing with life. His private sanctuary had expanded into a public forest. He was fully awake to his existence. His mind was no longer a cage of memories. It was a fertile garden. Your story doesn't end when the towers fall. True life is a seed, and every single ruin is just an opening. Time moved forward, and the city started changing its shape. Green roofs and pocket parks began spreading across the skyline. He didn't just design parks anymore. He built a permanent school, a place where future architects could learn the language. He was designing the future of human habitation, treating the city as a living organism that works in harmony with nature. He watched them push the boundaries of design, no longer afraid of errors because they knew nature always builds through variation. The original ruin was far away, but its lesson was alive in every brick of this school. Legacy isn't stone. He kept drawing, kept planting, kept living in the fluid spaces between the lines, converting his old tragedy into a lifetime. They marched through the heart of concrete, a joyful storm of green that brought thousands of people out to the sidewalks. He held the small mum song toward the sun, a symbol of everything they had reclaimed from the cold dust. He returned to his quiet room, his body tired, but happy. The world outside would always be complex, but he had built an inner mountain of peace that nothing could invade. He fell asleep in perfect harmony with his reality. His mind was an open garden, waiting for the morning light. Every single morning became an invitation to create, a reminder that the world doesn't demand perfect monuments, it asks for life. He released his seeds into the breeze. a quiet thank you note floating across the awakening horizon of his home. The volume of his old rules was gone. His life was now an infinite open page, a beautiful composition. Ah, just what I needed, thank you. You're welcome. These are the new plans for the rose garden. He had conquered the fear of loss. He had won the long battle for his own mind. Ha! He was free. The building was a living testament to recovery, a monument to what happens when you refuse to let a tragedy define you. He gave them his absolute presence, helping them find their own green path out of the dark valley of grief. The journey of self-reconstruction was fully complete. He was no longer escaping the ruins, he was successfully transforming them. He learned to appreciate the dust, the bricks, and the long seasons, finding that true safety grows from within. Every single moment was a clean page, a beautiful, unscripted opportunity to stand tall and feel entirely glad to be alive. The old paralysis was entirely dead. The silence in his mind was a vast, open playground of pure potential. Hello, everyone. It's good to be here.
We've been waiting for you, Stick.
Come sit. We're glad you're here.
I love this place.
Me too. It's perfect.
You always know the best spots.
It's our sanctuary. The book of his old failures was permanently shut. The blank page of his future was waiting. And he was ready. Never let a broken chapter keep you from finishing your book. Rebuild your foundation, trust the green path, and become a masterpiece.